Nick Nemeroff died, and it's pretty an interesting, kind of crazy.
It's really crappy.
So one thing that I was thinking, he's the man, and we actually did a sketch that was on my YouTube channel back in the day. I don't think it did very many views, but we made this like short film called Animals, if you want to look it up. He was the guy that played the bird watcher. I think Danny posted it too, but he was like, he was like a rare talent where I remember that was when he first started doing stand up. And I remember just watching him on stage and being like, kind of making a note of like, oh, I want to put him in something.
Yeah, he's just super
He was so unique, and he had these like weird jokes where he would go, he would basically say stuff like, he goes, people call me Mr. Nemeroff. That's my dad's name. You can call me Mr. Nemeroff Jr. or whatever. He goes, I know what you guys are thinking. I look like a mix between Ted and Joanne Nemeroff. But I don't know. He just had all these like one-liners. He was super funny, dude, and he was like nice, and everyone like kind of beloved. And he had some. But it was interesting that the first part was, I was thinking, I go, so every year, it's one thing when comedians die when they're like 60, but it's like, I know 5 or 6 comedians that have died that are, in their 20s and early 30s, right?
Yeah, it happens.
I don't know a single person from music. I don't know a single person from, high school or college. None of my college friends randomly died. I don't know one from film.
That's a good point,
I don't really know any. I know older people, but I don't know anyone like our age that just randomly died. And in comedy, I know 8.
Yeah, that is true. I never
it's
thought
nuts.
about that. I just always assume that there's a general depression because generally they're killing themselves. He didn't. But
well, we don't know.
We don't know that.
Honest.
We don't know that.
And
that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's so. What's going on? What you're getting at is they just said he died, and then now it's been latched on.
Well, it's been interesting to watch the media pick it up, and it's always interesting because everyone kind of knows that the media spins their narratives or whatever, right? But so in my own personal thing, he died, and we're kind of all messaging in our comedian group chats being like, oh, brutal, like, does anyone know what happened? And it's sort of like a hush. A lot of times these things are like hush hush.
Yeah.
And then, remember the guy from, remember the guy who's the Grapist sketch? It was like one of the funniest sketches of all time. The whitest kids.
Oh, the whitest, yeah.
So that guy died, and it was kind of like, what happened, and they sort of said one thing, and then it was all speculation. And then like 2 months later, they kind of tell you what happened. So a lot of times when someone dies, the family doesn't really tell you what actually happened.
They're
right?
they're dealing with all sorts of shit that's not like caring what the public
But basically, all these websites and the Fox News and the Daily Wire were all posting like, basically that this was evidence of like the vaccine.
Well, they're not saying it, but they know that they know the fact that they're making this a story. Like, again, more importantly, we know many comedians who have died. It's not international news.
Right.
You know, and it's not like, not to, I'm not trying to like disparage him, but like he wasn't like Russell Peters. Like he was known in Canada, but he wasn't like this international guy where it was to be all over the world, which it is. And what's happening is it's kind of interesting. At least this is my opinion on it, is that they're like, these sites are just being like, hey, this comedian died. Here you go. Knowing that this is going to be shared among the anti-vax world as being like, see, this is a sign of this. And that's how the signal boost is. I mean, someone's watching this right now being like, what are you guys, stupid?
Yeah,
obviously
someone's probably thinking that does.
Is.
But it's like the reason, and the thing is when it's your own, when it's someone that you like have, personal, the thing is like, and again, I have no idea, but there's been a million cases where, again, I have no idea, but someone's like, ODs, and then the person says this, or someone commits suicide. And like, we've had people that commit suicide, and the parent said something else. And I'm not at all saying that happened to him. But the bottom line is, no one really knows, right?
No, and also like I had a friend of a friend who like he was probably my age, and he just had a heart attack and died, and that is what happened. Yeah, and that does I mean, dude, there's a lot of people like that does legitimately happen. It happened before COVID ever existed, and but yeah, that's just like there's this narrative that people are looking for data points for, and then but like it's just interesting that the news is almost complicit, even if it's not on the right. Like it's literally like these left-wing outlets who are just saying like, here's what happens, and like, but you're like, yeah, but you're posting this not because you really care. I think like in the back of their minds they know like this is going to go far because of these people.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
that's what that's
kind of like a dirty game.
It is dirty game. Yeah,
all around.
Yeah,
but it was like the truth is there could actually be like a real answer that
he
comes
could
out
have a
tomorrow.
medical history that nobody knows about.
There could be a huge medical
most
history
people
that no one
don't
knows
share
about.
Shit, like, yeah. So, anyways, I thought it was kind of sleazy a bit what was going on.
Yeah, and you're just like, no one knows, and they're just like,
and bizarre. Like,
it's probably not. You probably said it pretty good. I don't really need to comment on it more, but a lot of comedians died. It is just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there are a lot of depressed comedians, and then in Canada is just even more depressing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what a lot of them. I mean, we know. Me and Danny probably personally know like 6 guys that have committed suicide.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty wild.
I think so. Yeah. Not good.
Not good. Okay. Well, thanks for bringing everyone down.
Anyways, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go watch this guy fuck my girlfriend with my top hat on.
Fellas, this is the New Clips channel. Right now, we're at 3K. Hit us with a subscribe. Let's get those numbers up. Very much appreciated. Let's get to 5K at the very least. All right. Thank you. Peace.